From St. Cloud, Florida, this is the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
All hail the New York Giants!
Welcome to the Doc Show, coast to coast.
Giants win the Super Bowl, Yankees win the World Series. I was happier then.
But if beauty mist can make my legs look good, imagine what they'll do for yours.
Weeknights, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern.
And the NFL, man, kicks off a week from Thursday.
You know I don't have time for this, but I do.
I'm a New York Giant fan. So last year, what the hell did I have to lose? They started out 0-6. Keep losing. The Giants aren't going anywhere this year.
Excuse me. Spoiler alert.
Everything is going to be okay.
That's what I tell the dog during a thunderstorm.
I know.
Give Doc a call, 407-498-3193.
I need to find a fantasy league to get into. I prefer Yahoo or to start one.
I want all of my defensive players on this side, all players going out for offense over here, right now.
Often imitated, never quite duplicated.
I'm a fantasy football geek, whereas I appear to be such a cool guy.
This is the Doc Show, coast to coast, with Doc Holliday.
Yeah, man, broadcasting everywhere. Coming to you from Central Florida. I'm your good friend, Doc. Always can be reached. You have a smartphone inside the continental United States of America, 407-498-3193. It's 407-498-3193. You can listen to us on the TuneIn Radio Network. You can listen to us on any Android device, as we have an app on DocShowCoastToCoast.com. It's DocShowCoastToCoast.com. Listen to us on any Apple product, because there's an app for that, too.
Just not a Fuji apple.
What?
Nothing. Forget it. It was a bad joke.
It was a bad joke.
But people who eat apples got it. I personally like a Mac. I would love to get a Mac, too, the computer.
Okay. I think there's room for you.
I knew that was coming.
Room for you in Kanye's cage.
Yeah? You think?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think there's room on the other side for you, too.
Total break from reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's 36 minutes past the hour. iTunes, by the way, is where most people listen to us, and Apple TV, Roku television, and man, we got like 5. I always forget like everything else, but you can stream us.
Radio Loyalty, if you want to earn points for listening, you just go there, create an account, and then as many hours as you listen, you earn points to win prizes.
That is correct, and it has happened.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget, TuneIn.
TuneIn Radio Network, that is correct.
I don't know exactly what it's called when you go there.
It's just...
If I went to TuneIn, I couldn't find myself.
Just pull up Doc.
Just type in Doc?
Doc Show.
Docs there probably are.
Doc Show, and then you'll see our Phoenix, our symbol, our logo, our symbol. We're like Prince now. We have a symbol.
You can hear us. You can hear parts of the show that you've missed
on YouTube.
And then starting on Monday, I'll give you Telling It Like It Is.
I like it.
Telling it like it is. And I'm sure I'll have something hilarious to say about Kanye West.
Oh. Best wishes to Kanye, seriously. You know what? You may not want good juju in your life, but I want good juju. Hey. I try to be a good person.
I got news for you. Wishing Kanye West the best is not making you a good person. The man is a fool. He's pooping his diaper right now.
But it doesn't make me a bad person either. It makes me a human being who is compassionate for the human race and who is going to lead by example that all people matter, and we as human beings are just that. Human beings. We all have feelings. We all have emotions. Every once in a while, we all have problems.
You're a racist.
Because I believe in humankind.
You said all people matter.
Yeah.
And Black Lives Matter said anyone that says all people matter are racist.
Well, then I guess I'm racist. You know what? But I believe that if you're black, you're white, you're purple, you're green, you're yellow, you're indigo, we all matter. We're all human beings.
What's indigo?
A color.
Yeah.
I can't
picture it.
Indigo is like a purpley red, I think.
purpley red person?
It was in my box of 64 Crayola crayons
okay.
when I was a kid. So, they make up colors.
Yeah, man.
You could be like Roy G. Biv, the colors of the rainbow. That's how I remember it. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Yeah, it's in the rainbow.
So anyway, Hal, those are the ways that you can listen to us and get the latest news, man. You either wrapping up your day or starting your day, man. We're on twice a day, 7 to 9 a.m., 7 to 9 p.m. So we're going to do one or the other.
And those kids listening in the car right now said, oh, that's how I remember the colors of the rainbow. Roy G. Biv.
I don't think they're taught that anymore.
You don't think so?
Nah, I don't think kids learn anything.
I remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which was parentheses. Please excuse.
That you had your period.
But no, it was parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. And I don't know. Yeah, please excuse my dear Santa is my.
That sounds like a pretty big waste of time for a
That
teacher.
was algebra. That was algebra.
Oh, see, I didn't.
That's how you remembered it, because it was parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract.
I got news for you. If you're
kids don't learn that anymore either. They learn funky math nowadays. I don't know what they learn.
You don't even. Algebra is the biggest waste of time.
Well, not if
that my generation ever spent. Any time on.
Okay, as a radio broadcaster who speaks for a living, and that's the gist of what you do, I could see where you might not use it. But if you were somebody who was a statistician, well, you'd be using it. A math teacher would use it. If you're an accountant, you're going to use it.
And they still use it to this day. I don't think
I believe
anybody uses that.
I bet you a statistician does. They definitely use statistics.
Well, that's because they're statisticians.
But in order to use statistics, you have to know algebra.
I don't believe that
because
is
there
correct.
are algebraic equations within the status.
A statistician
you need to know.
Baseball keeps track of at-bats, runs, scores, blah, blah, blah. You don't use algebra.
Yes, you do.
You don't use algebra in the NFL. You don't use it in the NBA. God knows the players couldn't.
There's certain statistical equations that require you to use algebra. Physicists, they also use algebra. Chemists, they also use algebra. There's just equation. Look, all you have to do is sit and watch The Big Bang Theory for 10 minutes and watch Sheldon go.
So, a chemist, huh? Mm-hmm. So if I'd learned algebra, I'd know how to cook my own crack. Because that's all the chemists are doing these days.
I'm not, you know what? I'm not condoning that. Children, cover your ears. Mom, make sure they didn't hear that.
Hey, look, here's the deal. When you hear it from me, you're hearing the truth. But by the way, listen, there's a lot of people, and the fake news thing and all that, blah, 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 blah. Donald Trump, as of this date, as we get toward Thanksgiving, cannot launch an investigation on Hillary Clinton. There is an investigation already in progress on Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's nice.
And Donald Trump has nothing to do with it. All I see when I see these knuckleheads, posting, Trump's not going to go after Hillary. Aren't you pissed? And I'm like, wait a minute. But isn't that the lady you voted for? Aren't you glad? I mean, what the hell's wrong with you? There's an ongoing investigation, and it has nothing to do with the FBI. The FBI was totally separate from what they're investigating Hillary now for. And this investigation would need Trump to pardon Hillary for it to stop. Donald Trump is not going to pardon Hillary Clinton.
Well,
and they're not going to come up with any charges until Hussein Obama is out of the White House, so he can't give her a pardon.
But here's my question for all of you out there that say President Obama should pardon Hillary Clinton. And I'm just going to leave it out there because I'm the person that posts the question and let you all go to your own devices. And Lord knows yesterday, did I create that on our Facebook page? What
happened?
Anyway, just let me pose this question first.
Okay.
Why does she need to be pardoned? You all said she didn't do anything wrong. She said she didn't do anything wrong. So if she didn't do anything wrong, what is there to pardon?
Obama said she didn't do anything wrong.
So what is there to pardon?
And you can't answer that. A liberal won't answer that question.
But I mean, it's a logical question, right? If somebody doesn't do something wrong, it's kind of like before Richard Nixon passed. Was he ever pardoned for his?
He was pardoned by the next president, Gerald Ford.
Okay, so
given some time after he left the White House.
So in his particular case, we know Richard Nixon did something wrong.
Oh, Nixon
and if you're
resigned because he did something wrong.
Correct. And here's the thing. So Richard Nixon, we know, if you don't know, children, if you're listening, I want you to go and research, not Google, but use an actual solid source. But I want you to Google or find a solid source on the internet or ask your history teacher, what was Watergate? That's your homework for today.
Hey, the history teachers don't know what Watergate was.
Okay, so you need to ask your mom, your dad, whoever, but do some research and find out what Watergate was. President Nixon did something wrong. And therefore, and all of America should know this. It's part of our history. So the next president pardoned him, but he pardoned him because he did something wrong.
Things were coming down.
But, correct? I mean...
And with Vietnam just ending, Ford was like, we just got out of Vietnam, and that was Nixon's doing. And you know what? I'm just going to step in right here. He was very unpopular, and it cost him the election in 1976. But he pardoned Dick Nixon, who all Richard Nixon did was erase 18 minutes on a tape.
Oh, is that all?
That's it.
That's all.
I mean, compared to what Obama's done, and compared to Hillary going into the White House with everything that's on her plate, including the death of fellow Americans, she had no business being in the White House, and neither did Obama. But Obama, we didn't really know what a crook and a terrorist supporter and anti-American he was until he got in and started showing off his real personality. That's when it became real apparent, especially with Obamacare, that he couldn't care less about America, and Obama's job was to bring America down because we were just too far up there. We were the greatest country ever. And Obama would do speeches where he's like, that's nothing to be proud of. Mm-hmm. And he would try to bring us to the level of those little...
I just want people to think about that, though.
Swinging from trees, third world countries that he grew up in.
But I want people to think about that because you're asking the president to forgive someone, pardon them from the mistakes that they've made. It's kind of like if you're Catholic, right? And you go to confession and you confess to the priest your sins and he pardons you of your sins. He forgives you. He absolves you of them. He removes them. Well, that's what you're asking him to do of Hillary Clinton. And again, if she didn't do anything, if she didn't commit that sin, if she didn't commit that wrongdoing, she didn't do the act, then you cannot pardon her. That's all. Back to my ruckus on our Facebook page. Whew, man. St. Cloud City Council. That's all the talk of the week here. Everybody's all upset and in an uproar from one side of the room to the other. Because yesterday we talked about this, Doc. It was the first city council meeting with the new mayor, with the new council members. One previous council member who apparently was reelected again. I don't understand that. If you ran once and you weren't elected the second time and you sat, and why are you running again? I guess you can in this yeehaw town.
Well, we got a problem because we got a crooked preacher who assumed the mayorship, and we got a guy who is a thief and doesn't pay his bills, and you voted him back in, and I'll never understand that.
I don't understand.
So he ripped off the city, and
well, in his defense,
our preacher mayor used his church in violation of the church and state split, and he got in people's heads, and he won an election that he should not have won. Reinhardt should have been mayor.
Well,
it's very simple, but when you've got somebody messing with your head like a preacher can do, you can walk away with it, and he did. And it shouldn't have been a polling place either.
Well, and when you have money to send flyers in the mail once a week, however he got that funding, I don't know.
You know how he got that funding?
I have seen people post things online about where he got donations from.
You damn well where he got them.
And it's not necessarily from the church. It's from other individuals that are currently holding office.
He used some of that tithing money.
Anyway, I don't want to get into the details of that because there's nothing we can do to change that, unfortunately, at this point. We have to deal with what we have in the city of St. Cloud, and that is now Mayor Nathan Blackwell, Councilwoman Lynette Matheny, and Chuck Cooper, Councilman Chuck Cooper, who was the individual that was reelected who had not paid the appropriate water bill for 6 years. So here's the thing.
A thief.
So here's the thing. Now, let's dissect this. So Chuck Cooper doesn't pay his water bill for 6 years. The city of St. Cloud says there's a statute that they can only go back for like a year to collect from him. So they came to some agreement as to what he would pay, and at this point he has paid it. Now, the citizens are upset because they were never shown the statute. They were shown the agreement that was made, but they were never shown the actual statute that says that the city can only go back X amount of time. So citizens are now asking for that particular statute so that they can review them and make sure that that does exist and that it was the appropriate procedure. But it still doesn't negate the fact that they're upset that he just walks away from the question every time it's addressed. And he thinks it's just okay to do that. And it's not. And here's the thing, whether it's small scale or large scale politics, whether you're local or national, the bottom line is the taxpayers pay whatever salary you're earning. Now, we've had this discussion. City council is truly a job of mercy. It's something you do because you really want to do it, or you have this goal of letting it be a stepping stone to something else, because they don't. The city mayor in St. Cloud only makes $13,000 a year.
No, 16.
It was 16?
16.
Now in Kissimmee, they make $26,000 a year.
Hot damn, I'm moving.
But Kissimmee got their election right.
I'm moving and I'm running for mayor.
Kissimmee got their election right, though, because Jose Good, and they voted Jose in.
Jose Good and Otero?
Out.
He's out, right?
He's done. He's not even on council anymore. That's it. He's done.
So what does he do for a living? Somebody tell me what.
I don't know.
You Kissimmee people, what does Otero do aside from throw his wife out of moving cars?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'd love to know. So anyway, getting back to the city of St. Cloud. So here's the deal. So the citizens just want Chuck Cooper to stand up and say, "Hey, I did the wrong thing," but he's not doing that. His excuse was, well, my meter wasn't working, and so my meter wasn't working, so I assumed my water bill was right. He was in that bunch. You remember when we had the former deputy mayor, Jeff Reinhardt, in, he had indicated that part of the reason that the water bills are so high in the city of St. Cloud is because the city had to buy bonds to repipe the majority of St. Cloud because the pipes were so old and so bad that they needed to be replaced.
Now, that's something you could tell somebody that doesn't sound outrageous, because I had a condo that needed to be repiped. Right. And it was, it was built in 1970, and this was 2005. It was 35 years.
Yeah.
I think it was 35 years. And they said, yeah, the piping is getting rusty and this, that, and the other. But they wanted us to pay for it.
Right. Well, in this case, this had to do with piping going out to the sewer lines and things like that. So that was something. that needed to be done. And so again, these would be the pipes that, and I guess we are responsible for them as homeowners. I don't even know, but these are the pipes that are like under your sidewalk kind of thing and in the street. And so, the city went and needed to replace them. The other issue was that meters needed to be replaced because the meters were not reading correctly. So, for example, my meter was replaced in June, even though it didn't need to be replaced because it wasn't that old. It was replaced. I have seen no difference in my water bill. The only time I saw a difference was when I turned off the irrigation system and said, you know what, if my grass dies, my grass dies. The HOA will call me, they'll yell at me, they'll scream at me, and hopefully in the summer the grass will come back to be green again, because I gotta tell you, I'm kind of over it. But I turned off the irrigation system, but I still have almost an $80 bill per month. My bill every month is $72 and change. But I know that. So if my bill comes in at like $2 next month, I'm going to question, why is my bill $2? Ethically, I should question that. So that's where the citizens are mad at them. The other thing is that, there was a question when they elected the deputy mayor on Thursday evening. Councilman Schroyer had just addressed the question, why was he told before the council meeting that Councilman Askew would be nominated for deputy mayor, and was told or briefed how the vote was going to go. According to sunshine laws, an election of a deputy mayor, which is just an honorary position, to be completely frank, basically is chosen in the public forum at the council meeting, and they are not allowed to discuss city business outside of city meetings or outside of council meetings. They cannot meet each other in the street and say, Mayor Blackwell can't say to Donnie, hey, Donnie, let's look at the budget today.
Well, the Sunshine Law
let's go down and have lunch and talk about this outside council.
If they're going to talk about it, you have to have the citizens
correct
being in the audience.
Correct. So that was Donnie Schroyer's concern. And so, of course, the videos are all on the city website. They're posted on our Facebook page. They're posted on Osceola Politics Facebook page. People are upset because it went down exactly as Donnie said he was briefed it was going to go down. And so the public, again, became upset because there is an appearance of cronyism with the new mayor, new Councilwoman Matheny, and new re-elected Councilman Chuck Cooper.
Don't forget about the crooked preacher.
The thing is, well, that's Mr. Blackwell that you refer to as the crooked preacher.
Mayor Blackwell, who has no business preaching from a pulpit on Sunday and being the mayor.
And so people are upset because the appearance is there that they're not doing things openly like they're supposed to be doing things, that there's backdoor conversations. And Donnie Schroyer was upset. I feel like Donnie Schroyer, who is a great councilman, we've had him on this show, I feel like he's on an island all his own, And at the end of the day, you can see the videos and judge for yourself. But apparently, apparently I got called, we called Wacko Doc Holliday and his radio station trying to promote bad news. What? And I said, we weren't promoting any bad news. We were just airing these clips. Hold on a second.
Say that again.
So this guy commented on our Facebook page because there's been a lot of comments about these videos. People are upset. They're upset about that. They're upset about the 95-year-old gentleman who got told to sit down and then got laughed at when he brought up his water bill. They're upset about, the backdoor deal that may have occurred or the backdoor conversation that may have occurred. But this guy said, the problem is, it's people like, this wacky Doc Holliday just doing, things to get a thrill and just things to get a conversation. And so I responded, of course, as the radio station. And I said, the thing is that
Who's
we
this
posted
person
this,
that called me wacky?
I'd have to go back. There's like 100 people that have commented on this feed. It's ridiculous. I'd have to go back and find it.
I'm not. First of all, I want the truth.
Right.
And I know the truth. So I'm going to give you the truth, and then you're going to either accept it or you're going to get busted lying.
This wasn't even a news story. This was just trying to get listener opinion on these videos. And that's all it was. There were no facts behind it. It was simply the city video from the council meeting, and it simply said, here's the video. This is what transpired. Take a look at the video, and you decide for yourself. I never put any inflection on that. There's no doubt that this radio station supported Jeff Reinhart. He was the only councilman, only mayoral candidate that would come in and answer our questions when asked. Whether we liked the answers or not, he was forthcoming, and we thought that that would have been an asset to this city. That does not mean that you get to avoid us like the plague when we invite you in. At least give common courtesy to say, okay, I'm not interested, but thank you for the invite.
And then tell your stupid parishioners to stop leaving me, Facebook mails saying this and saying that, and you're not being fair to him, and blah, 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 and you godless someone, blah, 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 blah. That was last summer. And I gave it right back to him. And I said, I want the guy on the air. Well, why should he go there and get attacked? Well, then how about if old godly one just gives me a call, and if he doesn't like the question I ask, he can hang up on me.
Exactly.
You know? But I don't got a problem getting Reinhart in here.
But this is the thing. You asked to be the mayor of this city. And so now you have officially put yourself in the public eye, and you have to understand that everything you do is going to be scrutinized. So
I want to know who
I'll have to go back and look.
Besmirched me.
I'll have to go back and look. And it wasn't Doc, it was me. I'm the one that controls that page. I'm the one that posts on that page. So if you really want to besmirch somebody, it's me, Bam Bam Sam. I take total credit for it.
Well,
are you upset that it's me that they're attacking and they used your name instead?
Well, no. It's like, what are you getting out of the fact that she just posted the facts and wacky me, and I'm hardly wacky, simply called this mayor / preacher, called him out.
Right.
Because he's doing something he should not be doing. And I called him out for the way he handled that 95-year-old man. And I don't believe he ran fairly against Jeff Reinhart, because Reinhart doesn't have a church. And he does.
Oh, he has a church. It's just a church of the adult beverage.
Oh, man, I need to go there right now.
We should do that. We should find out when he's going to be there. We should just go and hang out with him.
I just want to go.
He's invited us about 100 times, but before your surgery, you just weren't wanting to go.
No, I had no desire to.
So we'll have to make sure that we find out when he's going to be there, and we'll
tell me he's there now. I'll go right now.
Oh, you're going to leave me to do the rest of the show? We got to go to break.
I could really use a drink, but I just give the facts on this guy. I've said it before about 300 times, and I got tired of him. You know, I got tired of being blown off, and I got tired of these weirdos that go to his Baptist church, and Baptists are strange people. I'm not sure what kind of Baptist he is. I know he's not a black Baptist, and those are Southern Baptists. But if you're one of those Baptists that, Liberty University Baptists, the judgmental Baptists, the finger-pointing Baptists, then you don't belong sitting in a mayor's position, and you don't belong ridiculing 95-year-old men. And if you're judgmental and live this way, yet used your church as a polling place where there were signs all over. People knew that the guy inside was running. Now, there is a separation of church and state that I believe is violated, and I ask you, Mayor, why don't I like the mayors in this town?
Because we haven't had very good one. The last good one that I recall, seriously, and I don't even, and again, we got to go to break, but You know what? I'm going to think about this. I'm going to think about the last good one, and then we'll pick it up on the other side. How about that?
I don't know. The last good one was the one that gave me the key to the city in 1995.
And he's probably dead.
And there's a chance he has passed on because he was fairly old in 1995. And I brought my radio show down here.
Well, we're sure as hell not getting a key now. We might have stood a shot when Jeff Reinhardt
he can't hold that against me because he's a man of God. He forgives. Anything I say about our mayor/preacher, he must forgive me. He can't hold any type of grudge against me because that's what he is preaching from the pulpit up there in a Baptist church when he doesn't belong as mayor. You owe it to those losers who give you money so you could run for mayor an explanation. And I want to know who's giving me hell.
Because they're really giving me hell.
Well, the bottom line is they act like it's you people act like it's for publicity. And nobody going to give me publicity. It just happens to be what people are talking about. And as a matter of fact, you think Hillary Clinton, do you think I ripped on her for a year for publicity? No, I was concerned people were so stupid they were going to vote for her. That was my motivation for Hillary, and my motivation for him is I don't trust the man. And that pig Borders is gone finally, and now you've got a preacher that didn't play fair to win. And that's not what he's preaching his people. And he needs to give me an explanation. If he doesn't think he needs to give me an explanation, I'll spend every day, at least one break a day, giving him hell. Holy hell. Sit there and rip me. 5 minutes past the hour.